Good morning, friends and family. I just wanted to come on today after I had a very interesting dream just shortly before I woke up. Today is August 22nd, 2016. Okay, so what I dreamt about was perhaps a prelude to what's possibly going to happen here. I don't know. All I know is it was too odd to have this dream. One, I wasn't thinking about this person at all, but it was very symbolic. I'm going to start. What I dreamt was there is a person that I know of, fairly, how can I say, I just know of her. I'm just going to put it that way. I know of her, and wasn't thinking about her or anything. And in this dream, the Lord showed me that she had called me and she had alerted me that she was going into labor. Now, mind you, her name is Paris. Okay. Let me look at my notes because I've just woken up too. It was weird because somehow I knew that she had called me, but she didn't, like, I didn't physically pick up the phone. It was that knowing that we get. So anyhow, I get to the hospital, had no idea that she was expecting. In this dream, I had no idea she was expecting. Um, and her, literally her labor pains, what a woman goes through when she's in labor, um, it had gone undetected. They were literally unheard of, to say the least, because when she went into labor, nobody in the hospital nor myself, which it was weird because I was seeing it like it was like I had like some kind of aerial view of the room because I wasn't physically there. I was actually in the parking lot. It was very odd, but I seen her go into labor, and there was no regular, the breathing, that you take in Lamaze classes. There was no indication that she was going into labor per se, and I don't want to get graphic or anything like that, but just so you understand, I guess, the visual of the dream, getting a visual for what I was shown. She had positioned herself in the shower slash bath, because they had a sitting area in the shower. And she had positioned herself in such a way as in a squat, but again, there was no, like, what I got from it was there was no indication, no pre-warning, no 9 months, where, you see a person get, a little bit more around because they're expecting a baby. There was no indication, not only that she was pregnant, but as she gave birth, because typically speaking, that comes with a lot of pain. And so, you're breathing, accordingly as you're taught, and there's pain. There's a lot of pain when you receive those contractions. Some women, yell out, things of that nature. Anyhow, there was none of that. There was none of it. And literally what came to mind was it was unpretentious, without notice, is what I wrote after I declared this with my husband this morning. I found it to be very symbolic and parallel David Wilkerson's prophecy. He only prophesied twice as far as the two visions that the Lord gave him in his lifetime, but they were very meaningful. And he prophesied that the European countries, would feel the shaking before the U.S., and before it snowballed into the U.S., I should say, economically and socially. Okay, so what I got from it was, it seemed like, because the person that the Lord showed me in the dream and her name was Paris. Um, I thought about it at the kitchen table as I was telling him after I just told him. And I realized, oh my God, she's no longer a girl because she turned 18 this year. So that whole scripture in the Bible about the woman going into labor and her name happens to be Paris, I couldn't help but think that this is a prelude to something, perhaps, excuse me, perhaps, something may occur in Paris, but I wanted to share it. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with, I really want to encourage my co-watchmen to please try to get along. You have to understand, or you must understand, that when we face the Lord for judgment, how are you going to feel when he says, I granted you the position of a watchman, but I realized that, you were amongst the bickering. How are we going to explain that? We've all been spiritually attacked. I'll be the first to admit, yes, sometimes, they know just where to get you. They know which button to press. But it's really important that as watchmen, we have the leg up, literally. And I was sharing this with a co-watchman because I see that perhaps she's being spiritually attacked a lot. But we cannot, none of us should perpetuate that, literally, that beast system. I guess what my point is that we need to try to avoid reacting in a negative light to whomever is spiritually attacking us. Perhaps we should take a stance and do what Jesus would do and submit ourselves and submit that person into prayer. Instead of taking everything personal, we should, because at times we do. I mean, it's no secret. Mankind these days is offended by everything. We get offended if somebody comments not quite like we want. I mean, let's be truthful here. It just depends on moods at the time, whatever the case may be. Again, I'm guilty of it too. I have trained myself obediently to the Lord where I am very aware and I'm very mindful to avoid any confrontation in fact, I'll just give you a quick tidbit that happened yesterday. We were going to church, and it'd been 3 weeks since we'd gone to church because our first grandchild having the complications that she has in the hospital. And so we had been away from the small congregation that we found here locally. And after 3 weeks, they opened us with open arms, and they had been praying for her, and it was just amazing. But before then, I got sidetracked, sorry. Before we entered the church, we were just going down the road. We were about a block away from the church, and something highlighted on my phone. And somebody had, I don't know this person, but somebody had made a comment on one of the videos that I had commented on. And, he called me names and, he didn't swear at me, but he, for a lack of better terms, he called me an idiot for supporting somebody who had received an antichrist prophetic word. And so I received that. And normally, I would get upset by that. I would allow that to upset me. But, it's funny because I giggled. And at the same time, it's like I went on to full-on prayer. And I told my husband, I said, and I shared it with him. I told him really quick. And I said, it's funny because the Lord, I've really disciplined myself and have tried to maintain and stay very conscious in the Word and what the Lord expects from us. And I honestly, I'm new to YouTube. I honestly don't even feel comfortable coming on here, but I know that I must because of the Lord. And I told my husband, I said, I'm going to try and see if I can find this gentleman that just blasted me. I said, but I'm not going to react to it in a negative light. No, I'm going to do what Jesus would do, and I'm going to pray for him. That's what we need to do. We don't need to come on here and point out people's flaws or their supposed date setting or whatever. As a watchman, we should be more disciplined than this. The Lord is counting on us. He's counting on us. And if we're acting to react, I mean, come on, guys. We got to get it together. This has to stop. Honestly, it has to stop. I pray to God, I really do. I pray that you take this to heart and that you don't take it as an insult. But please, please understand, as watchmen, we should be able to maintain our dignity for the Lord's sake. I love you so much, and I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm just telling you what I see every day on here, and that's how come I only try to come on when the Lord gives me a word. So that's why I came on today. I don't want any problems with anybody, but I certainly won't entertain the bickering or, just anything. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to subject him to that. I'm going to leave it at that. And I love you guys. Have a good day. God bless you.